Legacy of Slytherin. Chapter 1.
After traversing the entire gallery filled with those opulent but haughty blonde portraits defiantly labeling her a mudblood, Hermione finally conceded that Malfoy Manor indeed lacked any depictions of Salazar Slytherin. "But your father's howler," she insisted repeatedly, while Abraxas Malfoy persistently attempted to cut in and refute Draco's explanations that it was merely a vestige of his father's eccentricities. "My lineage is storied," Draco told her, "but alas, Slytherin himself is not among my ancestors." "The inception of Hogwarts is simply enthralling," Hermione remarked with bright enthusiasm, only for Abraxas Malfoy to rudely butt in once more. "You should never have sullied the revered corridors of Hogwarts, you degenerate half-blood," he spat venomously at her. "Pipe down, Grandpa," Draco interjected. Taking Hermione's hand, he led her away from the boisterous portrait gallery and outside to where two broomsticks awaited, the older Comet 260 for her and his own brand-new Nimbus 2001. Hermione had chuckled heartily at the thought of Ron's envy, which Draco quelled by recounting how he dissuaded his father from purchasing matching brooms for the entire Slytherin team. The Nimbus soared speedily skyward, its swiftness akin to that of his own unicorn wand, compared to the claw-like wand stowed in his pocket. It assured him he could earn his place on the Slytherin team on merit as intended. This year, the broom advantage would be in Draco's favor, even though it wouldn't change much. Potter would inevitably receive his firebolt in the third year, proving himself a flying prodigy with or without it. Draco found dreams of Harry soaring across his mind, sometimes amidst vibrant Quidditch bouts against the backdrop of Hogwarts' colorful banners fluttering under the sun, and other times, gliding serenely by night, his bright green eyes innocently watching whoever won the privilege of flying by his side. Indeed, only Draco's broom upgrades stood to happen this time. While the thought of his father's interference irked Hermione, Draco chose to forego such privileges, partly to avoid Hermione's persistent disapproval and to steer clear of igniting further animosity from Potter, which he deemed unworthy of engaging in childish quarrels. As agreed, his father withdrew offers of assistance, albeit with an exasperated yet resigned grimace. This formed part of a larger agreement, allowing his father to tolerate Hermione, the Muggle-born, including corresponding and visiting. All this in return for his compliance to join the Slytherin Quidditch team that year, despite his reservations. They haggled persistently over it, but Draco's determination prevailed, ensuring his personal space from father's wrath barely 5 feet, and standing ready with his wand when his father appeared threatening. Guarding Severus's Langlock advice, he had to employ it but once. After Hermione's third letter, an attempt by his father to violently drag him to the cellar sparked this particular reaction. The spell cast sent his father tumbling, and instead of enduring a beating, Draco skillfully negotiated concessions with his father in exchange for releasing him. Apparently, his father cherished the use of his own speech. If hypothetically hinted consequences to delay lifting the spell were exaggerated, then let it fall on his father's gullibility. In recompense, Draco's initial pact was one surprisingly agreeable, swearing off any post or visits with any family more reviled by his father than Muggles and Muggleborns, the Weasleys. Swooping above a group of snow-white peacocks gathered around a garden serpent, Hermione gasped in wonder. "They're so pale." "Didn't you glimpse them on your way here?" Draco chuckled, circling back to join her. "They're old and wicked, you know. I reckon I have scars from them to show you." Within this innocent 12-year-old frame, these were the most evident scars. Having gained a bit of favor with Potter during their first year, Draco suspected it would take more to prompt Potter to unleash Sectum Sempra. For if he did, Hermione would not let it slide. "Do you think these differ from ordinary peacocks as much as Krupps differ from regular dogs?" she pondered aloud, to which Draco merely yawned and shrugged. "Best ask Hagrid," Draco suggested. He was curious about the Manor's creatures. "You should fill him in." Ron might not see these white peacocks, Draco hoped, at least until those fateful seventh-year snatchers brought Potter's trio captive here. Seeking reassurance from nebulous future visions proved daunting, especially as Dobby's failure to contact had unsettled him enough to enlist Hermione's help scouring the Malfoy library for elf lore. Eager beyond measure, Hermione seemed overjoyed to use those waning minutes before embarking aboard the Hogwarts Express to delve into ancient tomes. Luckily, this only added credence to his parental claims of being mere study partners, not friends. It took 2 promptings for Hermione to follow Draco's lead to the largest fountain circle. Her hesitance warranted him to splash water magically towards her in midair. He caught her this time, but Hermione's reprisal was swift. Since discovering the trace's inefficacy at the manor, she exuberantly practiced magic at every turn. As fascinated by looming hedges as by elusive peacocks, her probing questions concerned ward origins and history. Draco's revelations came with a caveat that others might have been left unspoken had their allegiances diverged. Indeed, Draco found himself bracing for a future where he would take a back seat, resigning himself to retrace the steps that once led to Harry Potter's victory. Yet, he clung to a deep-seated, perhaps foolish hope that he could shield his family from danger this time around. If not them, then at least his mother and himself. And Severus, too. Draco hadn't yet fully grappled with the fact that this passive approach might mean witnessing his godfather's demise once more. Despite Draco's many efforts to reach out to Severus, he received responses that were nothing, if not terse. Still, Severus gifted him several books over the holidays, a gesture that, in Hermione's world, would speak of far more warmth than mere words could convey. A potential foe never would have introduced Hermione to both the rear and main entrances of the manor. Yet off they went, the summer sun warming their flight, with a gentle breeze warding off discomfort. "This part reminds me of the Hogwarts dungeon's maze of corridors," Draco commented as he relished her admiration for the ornate gilded trims, gargoyles, vibrant stained glass, and charming crenellations. Ancient stone and floating, azure-tinted lights danced to life earlier with each nightfall following the summer solstice. Hermione had mentioned how Muggles had contraptions called streetlights that illuminated at specific times post-sunset. Mortally dismissive as he was, Draco couldn't help but relish Hermione's enthusiasm when she witnessed his family's lights come alive for the first time. She marveled at them, contending they surpassed anything she'd seen in the non-magical world. Her view of the Malfoy meal gatherings was scarcely a glimpse. Draco's father, stepping away from meals to avoid her presence, dismissed her with an air of cold indifference that, strangely, was more courteous than Draco anticipated. Nonetheless, it irked Hermione to be consistently disregarded by him. His mother proved more sociable, inviting Hermione for tea in her drawing room their first afternoon. Draco's presence was notably barred from their little tete-a-tete as his mother sought to probe Hermione solo. That initial candid interaction gave way to polite avoidance for the remainder of Hermione's visit, still more cordial than his father's indifference. Draco's mother, though critical, did concede Hermione's existence, which Hermione likened to a grilling comparable to her defense against the dark arts examination. Her verdict on Draco's mother stemmed from the fact she hadn't ever come face to face with Draco's father. Most often, much like on this evening, Draco and Hermione kept to themselves, oscillating between the library, flying, Draco's room, and the kitchens where the house elves delighted Hermione thoroughly. One attempted to recount the tale of Dobby and Draco's wand before catching a reproachful glance from him, thankfully stopping before revealing too much. Hermione's reaction to Dipsy's ritualistic headbanging whenever she displeased Draco was memorable. She subsequently launched into adamant discussions on house elf liberation that went thankfully unheard by Draco's parents. "These customs elude you, Hermione," Draco lamented, watching as her disillusionment grew when her liberation talks only terrified the elves further. "To them, freedom is a curse worse than death. You might as well be threatening them with execution. They'll breathe easier after you leave," weaving tales of the Muggle-born girl who terrorized them with freedom. "It's archaic," Hermione fumed, toting with her a basket of pastries foisted upon her by 3 terrified elves. Draco hoped she realized these weren't a seal of approval for her revolutionary fervor, but gifts of appeasement. Why should they labor without compensation? Isn't there any alternative for them in this realm? Hermione, their magic binds them to their masters, Draco explained, seeing her flop onto his bed, clutching a plush dragon toy with youthful obstinance. It's a mystic contract. Severing it harms them beyond the visible spectrum. Liberation isn't merely walking away. They find difficulty in securing new masters if freed. Dobby crossed his mind, leaving Draco hopeful for their return to Hogwarts so he wouldn't see him, contentedly leading the revolt. I could liberate them all, you know. Ever wondered why they dress in tattered rags despite our wealth? It's not just cruelty. A mere garment from their master's hand, even gifted unintentionally, can grant their freedom. He sighed, noticing her enthusiasm. Only their family master can do that, Hermione, so desist your plotting. But you could, Hermione pressed on. Free them, Draco, you could. Have you comprehended a word I said? Draco exasperatedly asked. Instead of self-righteousness, Hermione, consider their desires. They would prefer me unleashing deadly curses rather than clothing them. Avada Kedavra, murmured Hermione. Isn't that one of the unforgivables? The killing curse? You claim they'd rather die. She appeared dubious yet undeterred. They adhere to such beliefs because they've been conditioned to deny any possibility otherwise, much like you. It's the concept of learned helplessness, something I read about. They only know the life they're accustomed to. Elves have always been told that their role is one of servitude, just as it seems I was meant to believe that those with pure blood have the right to rule over folks like us. Why doesn't anyone just change their perspective on this?
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this chapter, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to stay updated with more audiobooks. Happy listening!